Okay, hi everybody. Let me just adjust you so you're looking more at art and less at, let's see. I have no idea. Okay, you're just gonna have to see those doors. Welcome to the Wednesday check-in. I am here streaming in two places, okay? So I'm going to be looking here and I'm going to be looking here, all right? And just coming to you today again for the last time in the gallery, La Galeria José Carvajal. And this is where the exposition of my work is. And the title of this exhibition is, since I'm speaking in English, I will say it in English. It's like, what am I going to say it as? In the Shadows of the Jungle of Mirrors. Now, the Jungle of Mirrors is a place here in Peru, which is also named the Pacaya Samiria. And the Pacaya Samiria is a national reserve of Peru, and it's located, you can get into it by leaving Nauta, which is near Iquitos, or you can get to it from Yerimaguas and Las Lagunas. And it's named the Jungle of Mirrors because the waters are very black. They're full of tannins, and so the water reflects like a mirror. I'm just going to put this on, excuse me, focus, so I can focus. And so as you go through, you will see almost a perfect reflection of whatever the water is reflecting. And depending on how quickly you're moving through the water, if you're moving very slowly through the water, then it's going to be very still and it's going to reflect like a mirror. Now, the series that I did is very much, every piece is a mirror. And it created this effect where all of a sudden these creatures began to come out of the shadows, out of the banks of the rivers. But as I've been going through this exposition for the last 3 weeks, I've realized, for the last 12 years, I've been looking at these with my eyes and my perspective and in much smaller format. And now that they are here and they're printed in much larger format, and I have other people's eyes and perspectives looking at them, I'm now seeing these with new eyes. And they are looking at these pieces with their own mirror, their own internal mirror, which, there are pieces, like one in particular that I kind of debated putting in because it has scary faces in it to me. But then other people look at it and they're like, oh no, I don't see that at all. I see an owl. I'm like, oh, how beautiful is that? And now I can see this piece with new eyes, and I'm so grateful that I did leave it in. And so that's also going to be the theme for our conversaciones somáticas tonight, somatic conversations. We're going to be talking about our mirror, how we see things, and just bringing more awareness to the fact that we see things differently because of our internal mirror. Now, whether that mirror is filtered through our experiences, filtered through our parts. Everybody here understands what I mean by parts, and if you don't, please reach out and we can have a nice conversation. And so what I see as scary, another person sees as powerful, or what I see as powerful, calm presence. Somebody else sees, and it touches some fear inside of them. And so it's been such a wonderful experience for me. Now, this exhibition is finishing up on the 16th, which is this weekend. We're going to have a fair here with other artists as well. So if you are in Tarapoto in Peru, please come and join us this weekend. And if you're not, well, maybe there's a way that you can somehow be involved. I'll think of something. So for now, let's just get into our check-in. And remember to check in. And as you're going through, maybe somebody said something, or you met somebody that touched you, like maybe a fearful part, or maybe in a certain, brought up some certain intense emotion. Let's just bring in this idea that we have our own mirror. And with this mirror of ours, we are reflecting ourselves onto that person. And what maybe, and we're just opening up to the possibility, not saying anything for sure, but maybe this is something that we can work on. So, bringing one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. And let's just begin. I had the craziest last 3 hours just running around, getting set up. I got here and I realized I forgot my charger at home. So I ran back home. The moto taxista did something really dangerous on the road. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to make it? So all these things did get pretty heightened. And so let's just take a moment to arrive in the space and let everything know, like all the chatter, whether it's the mind, whether it's parts of us. Just let them know that this is a space where we're coming and checking in, and we need to pay attention to what we're feeling on the inside. And this has enormous benefit and is one of those important things that we need to do today, among the other important things. And always taking the position of the self. And if you're having a hard time connecting totally with the self, that's okay. But just remember, anytime that you're observing what you're feeling or observing a narrative inside, this is the self. And so let's just bring our attention first to our breath. And how are we breathing in this moment without judgment? Is it a full breath? Does it feel like there's some constriction? I know with all of the activity for me this morning, I've got some constriction going on right now. And let's bring our attention now to any physical sensations in the body. First, anything that's obvious, maybe a pain or a vibration or something. And go ahead and give it a rating, 1 to 10. 10 being it's very painful, very intense. 1 being I barely feel it. And so for me, yeah, I've got some in the lower back. And it's not that intense. It's probably about a 4 out of 10. And just put your attention on describing it a little bit deeper. What is the sensation like in your body? And I also like to just do a quick scan and check for any tension in the jaw, in the base of the neck, in the belly, and in the hips or in the legs. And I'll just say that all of those for me right now have tension. And I'm not judging it, I'm just putting my awareness on it. And go ahead and also put a number 1 to 10 on the sensation. For me, the tension is a little higher. I'd say it's about a 5 or a 6. And let's move to giving attention to what emotions are either present right now, or maybe there was an emotion earlier today and you didn't quite have time for it. And so you might have gone, not right now, and pushed it down, which is absolutely fine. Now is a good time to give that some attention. And so let's see. I've been dealing with a little bit of anger. And I usually like to try and see, and I mean, for you guys as well, just see where do you feel it in your body, whatever this emotion is. And understand that sometimes emotions that are more present are results of other emotions. So, as I was saying, that anger that I'm feeling is probably covering up a little bit of sadness, which is okay. And so I'm just giving it some attention. And I feel this anger in my chest and in my throat. And if it has any more of a descriptive feeling, like it's hot or like stone or something like that, go ahead and say it now. And let's move on to any parts that are active and asking for some attention. Now, as we just went through the physical and emotional sensations, realizing that maybe these are indications from a part that's asking for either some attention or it's wanting to express something. And so, what part might be active for you right now? And it could be like 10 parts are active right now. Well, let's try and narrow it down to 1 or 2. Let's try and narrow it down to 1. And maybe that 1 is kind of a catalyst for the chaos. And so Yeah, I think for me, there's this part that's, mm, well, I won't get too into it, but just a little bit, put a lot of effort into something, and it's kind of tired, and it feels a little, maybe a little let down, and that's okay. Hmm. And sometimes, so these parts are expressing through the emotions. Just go ahead and put those two together. So, obviously, for me, the sadness that I'm feeling that's underneath the anger is from this letdown. And sometimes we have, yeah, a sentence or something that wants to be said by this part, and go ahead and allow it to say it at this time with no judgment, just allowing the expression. And we're observing. And let's just bring one more detail in. Let's, if you can place an age on this part. And if not, that's okay. But go ahead and get a little curious about how old this part is. Or when was this part, transformed in this way? What, and we don't have to go too diving in, just come up with that number. So, like I'd say, this part of me is probably 7 years old. Hmm. Okay, and let's go ahead and get a little bit grounded. And let's take 3 breaths to get a little bit more into the body. And I just want you to breathe in, nice full breath, but not without force. And then you're going to hold it at the top, and then we're going to sip in a little bit more air just to expand a little bit more. And then we're going to release the breath. We'll do this 3 times. Inhale, hold it at the top, sip in a little bit more air, and release the breath. Again, inhaling, hold it at the top, sip in a little more air, and release the breath and maybe anything else that wants to be released. Last one, inhale, hold it at the top, sip in a little more air, hold it at the top, sip in a little bit more, and release with a little bit of sound, with a little bit of movement, anything that wants to be released. Bring your breath back to natural breathing. And feel your body in your seat. And bring to mind this energy of gravity. And this energy of gravity holds you to this planet. And this force keeps you grounded and keeps you connected to the grounding energy of the planet. And we're not going to float away. And we can always find grounding with this attention. And take a deep breath in. And as you do, bring your attention to the air around you. And know that this air is here and it is supporting your life. And it is supporting your energy. And you don't need to be aware of it. You just breathe and it is there. And bring your attention to about 10 centimeters above your head. And imagine there is a stream, an energetic stream of information. And this information comes from our guides, from our angels, from the universe. And it is part of that intelligent, creative information that designed us, this planet, this solar system. And we are all a part of this. Imagine for a moment the stream of information just above your head. And all you need to do is tune into it. That's all they ask. And as you tune into this stream of information, if there's anybody in particular you wish to receive guidance from, you can humbly ask for that now. Now, coming back into the body, just move your fingers ever so slightly on your skin. Take a breath in, open your eyes, and let's go ahead and begin tapping on the side of the hand. If you're new to this, just follow my words, even if it feels weird to say. Sometimes we are introducing a new way of thinking, a new way of speaking to ourselves. So repeating after me, I am giving loving attention to myself here today because I love and accept myself just as I am. I am giving loving attention to what I'm feeling in my body and any emotions that are present, because I choose to honor what I'm feeling and get curious about it. I'm giving loving attention to any and all parts of me that are active right now. They are active and indicating to me through my emotions. And I'm taking this time to listen and hear what they have to say and allow for expression from the deepest parts of me. And I'm learning how to embrace them in a different way, because I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself just as I am. Coming up to the eyebrow point, I'm giving loving attention to what I'm physically feeling in my body. Come to the side of the eye. Go ahead and say what you are feeling physically. There was the pain in my lower back. Under the eye, go ahead and say what number, how intense is it, 1 to 10. So before it was about a 4 out of 10. And under the nose, and just say anything more descriptive. Like, it's just a point that's painful, but not too painful. On the chin. And there may be training in me to try to numb or avoid the things that I'm feeling in my body. Collarbone. And I'm opening to the possibility that there's something I can learn through these sensations I'm feeling. Under the arms. I'm learning that these sensations sometimes come from tension. Tension that might be linked to stress or the emotions I'm feeling. Top of the head. And these physical sensations are part of this human experience. Back to the eyebrow point, and I'm giving loving attention to the emotions that I'm feeling, either now or earlier. Side of the eye, and go ahead and say what emotions those are. I was feeling some anger and some sadness. Under the eye, and go ahead and say how intense you feel it, 1 to 10. It's about a 5 at times. Under the nose. And where do you feel this emotion in your body? I think I felt it in my chest and my throat. And if there's anything more descriptive about it, it feels like choking. Come to the chin. And there may be training in me to judge my emotions and try to stuff them down. Collarbones. And I'm opening to the possibility that there's something very valuable in my emotions. That maybe my emotions are indications of something else, and that something else is trying to get my attention. Top of the head. And I'm opening to the possibility. Sorry, I'll say that again. And these emotions are part of the human experience. And I'm opening to the possibility that I chose to have this experience. Back to the eyebrow point. And I'm giving loving attention to parts of me that are active right now. Side of the eye, go ahead and say what parts of you are active. It's a part that feels let down. Under the eye. And go ahead and say what emotion is connected to this part. This part feels sad and frustrated. Under the nose. And go ahead and say like one sentence that this part wants to express. And we're going to allow it to be said without judging it, without being defined by it. I feel let down by the amount of energy I've put in. And one more, go ahead and say if you could feel how old this part is. That's good to connect with right now. So this part of me is 7 years old. Coming to the chin. And maybe I was trained to treat my parts as if they were bad, like bad little children. On the collarbone, but I'm opening to the idea that they're just trying to keep me safe, trying to keep me from feeling something bad. Under the arm. And that maybe they actually have really creative origins. And we're just transformed into this role at one point. Top of the head. And these parts of me are part of the human experience, which I came here to have. Now bring your hands to your heart. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. And just for a moment, just reflect on anything that's happening inside of you right now. Again, with the calm observer of the self. If you're feeling something less than calm, that's fine too. We're just practicing. And whatever's coming up for you, Whether it's a memory, maybe something came to mind like, oh, yeah, there was a time back when I was, and this happened. Or maybe you're imagining this part. Maybe it's presenting itself to you. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to build new relationships with these parts inside of us that some of them have just been running the show for a long time. And I can imagine that they feel exhausted and they need the self to step in and relieve them of these burdens. Because really, the self, the conscious aware self, can actually handle these things. And we can because we're now adults. And when we were children, these parts really were developed because we didn't have the capacity to handle the things that were thrown at us. And we also didn't have authority of our life. We do now. Or at least we're learning how to take back authority of our life. Now, if something big did come up for you and you need to keep tapping, just tap and say whatever wants to be said, whether it's a memory, then go ahead and say what memory is coming up. And also, and you can just tap side of the hand, go through the points, and you can just say, and I feel the emotion still inside of me, and I feel it in my wherever it is, and it feels like, and name the sensation. And you can just keep doing the rounds until something tells you, okay. And so if something really intense came up for you, you can also connect with me and we can have a call and discuss what's going on for you. And if this is somebody who's already working with me, sometimes we're learning how to reference ourselves and learning how to take the reins in the moment in a loving and firm way, just like a loving parent, you know. And I realize I say that, and maybe not all of us had loving parents. But how would you imagine a loving parent to be? And so this work that I do and I help people with is really helping them to reparent some of these parts in themselves, to also allow these parts to express, because we spend so much of our life being trained to not express because our expression might be uncomfortable for somebody else. And so taking these moments, sitting with yourself, and keeping this practice going with yourself, you are training this muscle, you are training the self, you are training these parts, you're developing a relationship with yourself. And this is something that I can guide people, and I do, but this is something that, you know, when I was being guided and learning how to take back control of my life, because my parts were just freaking behind that wheel and they were driving like maniacs and I had no control over any of my emotions. I had no control over my life. And I was also ignoring them, suppressing them. They were, until they got to be totally impossible to suppress. But finally, and we don't want to like fight them for that wheel. You know, they've been in that position because it served us at one point. Okay, I have a protector part that's still learning how to trust me, the self, but it's been in that protective role probably my whole life. And so it feels very, defensive when I try to take the wheel from it. Because there were many, many, many years where I, didn't know that I had to protect myself. And then when I did know, I wasn't trained into it. And so I kept abandoning myself. And so now I'm not. I use my voice. I put up my limits. I say, no, that's unacceptable, regardless of if I'm going to please somebody or not. And my inner world is so much more stable. There's so much inner love, self-love, and trust that I have really worked hard for. I won't say I worked hard for it. I worked consistently for it. The second you put that hard word in there, it seems impossible. It's not impossible. It just takes a little bit of consistency. Start off a little bit at beginning. You start feeling the benefits. You start adding a little bit more consistency. You start feeling more benefits. And then you're just kind of like, why stop here? Let's just keep going. Let's see how free I can feel, how calm I can feel. And I'll tell you, this whole process of doing this exhibition, showing this work, showing vulnerable parts of myself, talking about this vulnerable process for me, has been very triggering to all these parts. But I said, no more are we not going to do it, because I'm maybe a little afraid of having an emotional, feeling something uncomfortable. So now I feel the uncomfortable thing and I go in there and I go, I know this is so uncomfortable, but we're not going to stop. And we're expanding our capacity to feel these things, because these things, showing this work, was a much bigger calling than avoiding the uncomfortable feelings. So if this feels resonant with you, go ahead and connect with me. And thank you for joining me today. And I will see you guys next Wednesday. I'm looking at both. And have a beautiful week. Take care.